Hey guys, here today to do a review for my son's first lightsaber and the second lightsaber in our home. And my son's lightsaber is the Prophecy V3. And his favorite character from Star Wars is Anakin, and the Anakin that makes good choices, not the Anakin that makes bad choices. And the Prophecy V3 is a close replica to Anakin's lightsaber from Episode 2, The Clone Wars. And obviously Anakin's lightsaber is blue, so my son's lightsaber is Guardian Blue. So here is his Prophecy V3. A couple of the features that you get with this lightsaber: you get the slanted emitter, which looks really great. You get the two retention screws that are in the center of these brass knobs to do a little bit better job of holding the blade in, although I haven't had any issues with my Dark Initiate LEV3 with the one set screw. It stays in there fine, but it's cool that you get two on this. And then you get these brass thumb knobs that go over top, so you can loosen these off, or you can loosen the set screws within there. Also, you get a CoverTech wheel included in this lightsaber, which is really cool. It's just a nice extra accent piece. We don't have any of the clips or anything for our belts because we just don't. He has the regular guarded switch on here, and also another cool feature of this lightsaber is the emitter window. So when it lights up, you see the Guardian Blue come through here. There's a second hole here, but it does not allow any of the light through, so no big deal. It still is a cool design feature to this saber. The saber is it's pretty. It's shiny. It's flashy. When I first took it out of the box, there was definitely a solid wow factor on this thing. And if there's any reflection coming off from the light in here, it is really that shiny. It looks really cool. It's a very, very nice looking lightsaber. A little jealous. I picked it up, came home to surprise my son, and I opened it before I got home. And I didn't want to give it to him, because why would such a nice saber go to my son when I could just keep it? But he knew it was coming, so I couldn't really hold it back from him, and he is well deserving of this for sure. So one thing extra I got was this pommel. This is the Manticore low profile pommel, and the reason I got that was because my son's 5, and this lightsaber goes wherever he goes. So if he goes outside to play in the yard, this thing goes outside, and it either sits in the grass, or sits in a little bit of dirt, or sits on the deck, or sits in the carpet, or it just sits everywhere. And of course, if you get a saber with sound, you're going to get the standard vented pommel, which is great, but for a 5-year-old, I kind of figured that potential for dirt and debris to get up in the speaker and make contact with the speaker was likely. So I went ahead and ordered this, the Manticore pommel, low profile pommel, to have some protection from stuff getting up in there. And it's done a really good job, and because of the threads, push the speaker up to about this point, it gives it a little bit of space, a little bit of leeway. And also, not only just to protect the internals, it looks totally awesome on here. And I got a low profile pommel here just to keep the weight down, and it's done a really good job. The saber is very light. It is actually noticeably lighter than my Dark Initiate. Diameter wise, I think this section here is about maybe the same width as my Dark Initiate. But the rest of the body up here is thinner, and it's just super light. Like it's a great lightsaber for him. He has no problem whipping this thing around. I initially also additionally ordered the Initiate blade, 24 inches. Too short for that boy. He has my 32-inch Ultra Edge mid-grade. And it actually works really great on here for me to handle. I really like the length of this blade on here, but also he handles it so well. With the mid-grade blade and the lightness of this hilt, all day he's fast with this thing. So that's a really great combination, and plus the mounting socket in here is pretty deep, so after you slide the 24-inch Initiate blade in here, there's really not anything left. It kind of turns into a lightsaber knife, and he was not happy with that. And it doesn't really look right either. But that 24-inch blade is good for my Dark Initiate LEV3 lightsaber. I can throw it in there, and my 3-year-old daughter can pick it up and defend herself if she needs to. So it has its purposes. One thing that I will say, first of all, my Dark Initiate has the AV switch, and I got my son the guarded switch here, because if it is to drop, which is likely, it would maybe do a little bit to protect the switch, and so that's kind of my thinking behind that. But I have to say that this switch is insanely sensitive. Like, I am shocked that it doesn't turn on by me just focusing on it. You can brush this button and it'll fire up. I've actually scared myself on more than one occasion from holding it, walking from one room to the other, and I just have my hand over top of it and it just brushes the button and boom, it fires up. So on one hand, it works really well because he can operate the controls on this saber very quickly and very easily, because it just takes literally a brush of the finger, and lockup turns on and turns off really a lot quicker than my AV switch. And so when I'm spinning it and when I'm holding it, because my hands can't almost help but cover the guarded switch, I accidentally hit lockup often, or accidentally shut it off when I don't mean to. So I didn't really know that maybe it's particular on this saber, but anyway, it's wicked sensitive. It's very well built, very clean. It shows scratches a little bit easier than the anodized, the black anodized hilts. It's not a big deal. It doesn't scratch easily. You can't run your fingernail over and scratch it or anything like that. But once the scratches on there, they show up, which I think is typical for silver metal. So there's a few scratches on here, and it's understandable that wherever my son goes, this goes, so it takes a bit of a beating just in its travel, which is no big deal. The saber exists for him to use, and to use heavily, and thus far it's held up really well. A big recommendation to anybody who has multiple sabers with multiple users in their home to definitely have an extra set or 2 sets of batteries, because if we're both fighting all day or attacking together on the same team, and our sabers are being used heavily through the day and the next day, batteries obviously will burn out a lot quicker, and we only have 1 spare set. So I have to be careful to stagger, make sure at least my lightsaber batteries are charging overnight, because sometimes this stays by his side when he's sleeping. And why not? This weapon is your life. So really happy with this thing. How light it is, how sturdy it is, how quick it is. He loves it. And it's loud. And it sounds different. It's really cool. Other guys have said that put a different pommel on there, and it changes the resonance and the tone of your lightsaber, and it's true. This bad boy sounds different than my Dark Initiate, which has an extension, like a choke extension on the bottom, and mine has a deeper snarl to it. It's the same default Obsidian sound, so that's really cool. So I can switch out my bellicose long goose pommel, this one, the vented one, and it all kind of gives it a different tone. And maybe because, you know, I'm a bit of a lightsaber geek, I noticed that. I don't think my wife or my son's friends would notice, but I really think that's a cool thing. Guardian Blue. It is really washing out this camera, but it is bright and it looks fantastic. Ugh. Lightsaber, really loves that. Fires up, just really snappy. So really cool. Love the blue. It's there's that emitter hole in the side there. It looks really cool. Just nice blue. Very happy with that. Looks excellent. Sensitivity. Let's try and get this going. I barely touched that. It's so sensitive. You know what? It works great for my son, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but he mastered it right away. It's his lightsaber. Of course he would. So length, I'm not exactly sure how long it is. Let's say 11 inches or so. I know it says on the website. If I compare it side by side to the Dark Initiate emitter, so definitely longer with the extension there. This one obviously. So that's just a bit of a comparison of what you get there. And of course, I'm the bigger guy, still got that extension there, so my Initiate fits me a little bit better. There you go. Anyway, great saber, love it. Thank you, Ultrasabers. It's great having two lightsabers, two different colors. It's definitely good times. So, good job, guys, and thanks very much.